Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming to this session. Today, we're going to be covering keywords within the Google Ads platform, which can kind of be daunting because Google Ads is quite a confusing platform. For those of you who were at last week's session, I ran through how to set up your Google Search Ads account for the very first time. So if you're new to this session and you didn't attend that session, the recorded version is on Chinook Community Futures YouTube channel. So feel free to watch that and get your ad account set up. Once that's set up, you're ready to start creating some ad groups and utilize keywords, which is what we're going to cover today. So I just want to thank Chinook Community Futures for having me on here. I'm a marketing specialist at London Road Marketing in Lethbridge, and I specialize in ad buying. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into today's topic on using keywords, and I'll share my presentation with you guys. Okay. So the first thing that we need to cover with keywords is the different types of keywords that exist within Google Ads, because these specific types of keywords will yield negative results or yield different results for you when using them. So the four different types of keywords that exist within Google are broad match, phrase match, exact match, and negative match. So a broad match keyword is the most general type of keyword that you could use. Essentially, a broad match will take whatever keyword you're targeting and any search term at all related to that keyword should trigger your ads to show up. So you can see here, I said the keyword matches search terms that are similar, a variation, or considered relevant by Google. So this really is all determined by Google's algorithm when you're using a broad match keyword. At the bottom there, you can see an example would be, let's say we're targeting the keyword local HVAC company. So for this entire presentation, I'm going to use a local HVAC company as our example. So let's say the keyword is local HVAC company. Well, if someone goes on Google and searches what is a gas furnace, our ad is probably going to show up because the gas furnace is related to, HVAC, but the search term, what is a gas furnace, it's not necessarily what we really want to show up for. We maybe want to show up for people searching for like furnace repairs or something along those lines. So a broad match is, it's the most general term that you can use. Some case uses for broad match, they're good if your budget is really limited. So if you have a really low budget, broad match is good because it's going to catch a lot of general searches. You're going to get a lot of impressions on these searches. And usually bids are going to be a bit cheaper just because the search terms aren't as relevant and as exact as some of the other keywords. So other marketers aren't necessarily bidding on them. So we can move on to phrase match. A phrase match keyword will show up in quotation marks like you see here. These ones are more targeted and relevant, but they're more flexible than, let's say, an exact match. So a phrase match would be like search terms that include our keywords, and our keywords can be in different places and in different spots in the sentence, or it can be a close variation to what we're saying. So let's say our keyword in quotation marks is local HVAC company. Well, a search term that our ad might show up for is HVAC company in Lethbridge. So it includes HVAC, it includes the term company, and instead of local at the start, it's in Lethbridge at the end. So it's basically the same phrase, just reworded a little bit. So yeah, phrase matches are more relevant. They're more targeted. These are probably the keywords that we use the most in our campaigns that we run. They're great for getting more relevant searches, but the cost generally is a little bit higher on these because more marketers and more people using the Google Ads platform are using these phrase match keywords and are bidding on them. The next keyword type is an exact match. So these will show up in the square brackets like you see in the presentation there. This is the most specific type of all of the keyword. And the keyword basically needs to match whatever the user is searching for, needs to pretty much exactly match what we are targeting. Google does take misspellings, like singular versus plural, acronyms, and abbreviations into consideration when using exact match. So let's say our exact match is local HVAC company. Well, the search term that maybe would show, or we would show up for, local HVAC companies. So it took the plural form of company, but it's pretty much exactly what we're targeting. Exact match, we don't use a ton. Exact match is good when you know exactly what users are searching for. And if you have, let's say, there's a certain phrase and that phrase gets lots and lots and lots of impressions and you want to bid more money maybe on that phrase so you show up for it every time, well, then maybe an exact match is a good way to go about it. And then the last keyword type is a negative match. And these are actually added into the account to prevent our ads from showing up in irrelevant search queries. So when setting up an account, we usually go in and we'll add 4 different negative matches to start. And you can see there that it's cheap, cheapest, job, and hiring. So you'll find if you don't add these, a lot of people are searching for, cheapest furnace installation or cheapest furnace repair or, jobs in the HVAC industry, like stuff like that. So our ads aren't going to be relevant to those searches. So we just don't want to show up for them at all. So we add them as a negative match. So we can move on here. The next thing we're going to talk about is our ad groups. So in the last session, I overviewed sort of how an account should be structured. So your Google Ads account, you've got your campaign, you've got your different ad groups, and then underneath those ad groups, you've got all of your different ads. So at the campaign level, this is where we set what our objective is. So let's say our objective is website traffic. That's our campaign objective. This is where we set our geographic location. So we're going to be targeting, let's say Lethbridge, and then that's our campaign. Underneath our campaign is our ad groups. And what ad groups are used for is these are ways to group your different services and your different keywords that you're going to be targeting into themes. So yeah, we use it to organize our keywords by services. And in doing this, we're able to create more relevant ads for those specific keywords that we're targeting in those specific ad groups. If your website has different landing pages for different services that you offer, this is where you can actually drive people to different landing pages on your website from your ads, from your different ad groups. So again, it's just a really good way to separate your account into different services, organize your keywords so that when you take a step back from your account, you can look at it from a distance and basically tell, okay, this is our goal of our campaign. This is where we're targeting. These are our different services. And we know what keywords we're targeting within those different ad groups. So if you've got a brain like mine that needs things to be organized, everything has their place, everything's in the right spot, this is a good way to do it. So I'll show you an example on the next slide here. So this would be a local HVAC company. This is what our ad groups look like within Google Ads. And you can see on the left-hand side there, we've got general service, there's metal fabrication, there's residential furnace, there's residential air conditioning, residential air quality. You get the gist. And then you can see some of the results over here. What I want to point out, though, is that you can see that some of the ad groups actually have far more cost associated with it and more search impressions and clicks. And that's mostly because the keywords that we're targeting in those ad groups are just more popular. We're getting more traffic, we're getting more impressions and more clicks on those keywords, which we're paying for. So that's why the cost is higher in some of them. So setting it up this way, you can see what services, are kind of most popular, what are getting the most impressions, and maybe where you want to focus your time and effort into improving. So let's take general service for an example. Some of the keywords I might be targeting in here are, HVAC maintenance, HVAC repair near me, HVAC service. In metal fabrication, some of the keywords could be, metal fabrication in Lethbridge, steel fabrication Lethbridge, custom fire pits, metal fabrication shop. In residential furnace, maybe it could be, furnace repairs, Lethbridge furnace repair, furnace maintenance, furnace technicians, furnace repair near me. Hopefully you're starting to see how separating these services into these different ad groups allows us to really hone in and target specific keywords and write ads in those ad groups tailored to those keywords that are actually using terms that are going to in turn result in a click to our website. So we'll move on to what is called the keyword planner. And it's a tool within the Google Ads platform that allows you to research, and it allows you to discover new keywords that you can add into your campaign. Another thing that the keyword planner does is if you have a specific keyword list, you can get forecasts based on historical data from those keywords in different geographic locations, and you can see how those keywords are going to perform in your account. So explaining the keyword planner is going to be easier if I actually just hop into keyword planner and go through it there. So I'm going to stop sharing. Oh no, can everybody see? Yes, you can. Okay, so I'm in an ads platform here. This is for an HVAC company. The keyword planner is located under tools and settings. So you're going to click there and you're going to drop down to planning, and then you're going to click on keyword planner. Okay, so it's going to look like this. You've got two different options. You have discover new keywords, and you have get search volume and forecasts. So discovering new keywords, this is the part where you're going to go in, you're going to put in some specific keyword ideas that you might have, and then Google will actually spit out a gigantic list of different keyword ideas that are being searched on Google. Get search volume and forecast. This is the button that you would click if you have a keyword list already and you wanted to get some metrics and forecasts into those, how the keywords will perform. So for this one, I'm just going to show you the discover new keywords. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to spit you into this little menu here. So this line is where you're going to put in some different keyword ideas that you might have, and you can actually use your website as a filter. So Google's going to comb through your website and pull terms out of your website that relate to what you put into this bar. And then right here, this button, you can set your location. So this is basically just for the metrics that it's going to show. So I don't really want to target all of Canada. Usually what I'll do when I'm creating something is I'll do all of Alberta, because it honed it in just enough that we get, data that we can see and what's being searched, but it's not small enough like just targeting Lethbridge or just targeting Tabor or Medicine Hat. So we'll do Alberta and we'll click save. Now, if we're an HVAC company, let's say we're looking for keywords about furnace repairs. So I'm going to put in furnace maintenance. I'm going to put in furnace repairs, and I'm going to put in furnace, let's say furnace technician. I'm going to go get results. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. Now, there's a couple things that I want to point out in here. So right here, these are all of the different keyword ideas that Google has spit out. When it does this, it gives us some important information. So average monthly searches. it's going to give us a number that'll show us the average monthly searches that it thinks this keyword is able to achieve. So we want to look for keywords that have a high average monthly search. And then competition here. So you've got low competition, medium competition, and high competition. So this all is based on whether other marketers and other people in the Google platform are bidding on these keywords. So the more people and the higher bids that are bidding on these, the higher the competition is going to be. So really, we want to look for keywords that have a high average monthly search and a low to medium competition. Now, you can bid on these higher competition ones, but it probably will be a little bit more expensive and harder to win those auctions. You can also see the top of page bid and the top of page bid high range and low range. So this is showing us what the average low range that other marketers are bidding on this keyword and what the high bid is on these keywords. So this just gives us a general idea about how much we might be paying for these specific keywords. And it's only going to show up for the most popular keywords that actually have data backing it up. On the right-hand side here, we have refined keywords. What this does is when you put certain things in like furnace maintenance and furnace repairs, Google knows that there's different brands associated with furnaces. So it's going to possibly pull keywords that are related to a bunch of different brands of furnaces that might, need repaired. So let's say we didn't want to target brands. Like let's say we just wanted to keep this general. Well, then you can just unclick this checkbox and it's going to take away all of the keyword ideas that included any brand. So it does this for, brands or non-brands. There's different services. So yeah, boiler repair, emergency furnace repair, a bunch of different services. So if there's one in there you didn't want to target, you can unclick the checkbox. Appliances. So let's say we don't repair, do maintenance on oil furnaces. Well, then we can just uncheck that. And that'll refine our searches. So those are kind of most of the things that I wanted to point out. When you crawl through here, let's say I want to target, let's say furnace maintenance, furnace repairs, furnace technician, HVAC repair near me, furnace cleaning, and furnace tune-up. Okay, so let's say those are the only keywords that I decided that I wanted to target. At the top here, when you check it, you can actually start organizing your keywords into plans. So we're going to create a new plan into a new ad group, and this one's going to be furnace repairs. Create. You can specify whether you want these to be broad match, phrase matched, or exact match. I'm just going to say phrase match because that's the one I use most often. And I'm going to click add keywords. So that took those keywords and it added it into a plan. Now, how you can see that plan is going to the forecast tab, which is where you're going to get some different metrics. So you can see here, these are our different keywords. At the top here, so let's say our average daily budget is $13. Google thinks that we can get 19 conversions for $400 with that. So you can get conversions, your average cost per acquisition, the amount of clicks, the amount of impressions. This is all just an estimation. Google is, it's fairly accurate. It's good to, like from a glance, be able to understand that, okay, we are going to get some, decent impressions and decent clicks from these keywords. And again, this is just a plan. So these keywords aren't actually added into your account. If you're ready to take these keywords and put them into an ad group, well, then you have to click all of them and you can copy these. And then once you're in your ad group, you can paste them into the keywords section. This part is a little bit confusing just because there's kind of quite a few things that go on in the keyword planner, but I am sticking around afterwards at the London Road marketing table. So if anybody has a question about this, please hop in there and we can chat about it. But yeah, this is a really good way just before you start creating these ad groups and bidding on keywords. Just spend some time in here and do a little bit of research on what keywords are in here, what you might not have thought of, what are getting bid on high and low, what the competition is. You can get a pretty good understanding of how your account is going to perform just from this. So we can move on. So yeah, this slide here, what to look for. Again, we're looking for those high average monthly searches. We don't want to target keywords that, just don't get any impressions. Really, it's just, you're just kind of wasting your time at that point. So you want keywords that are getting lots of impressions, and you want that low to medium competition. So it increases the chances of you actually winning those bids. Okay, so on the right-hand side here, you can see this triangle. These are just some ways that I like to think when I'm creating a keyword list. So in the middle here, what are users searching? So all of these sessions are about thinking like a marketer. And one of the ways to think like a marketer is to think about what the consumer is looking to solve. So what is the consumer searching on Google when their furnace goes down and they need a repair? At the top here, think of variations. So all of these different terms can be organized in different ways. There's words that can substitute other words. So it's good to think about all the different variations about how customers and users might be searching on Google. On the bottom left here, include near me or a location. Oftentimes when people are searching on Google for local things, they want local companies to show up. So if they're looking for a furnace technician, they're most likely going to put in furnace technician near me. And that is going to ensure that it's a local company showing up in their geographic region. You can also include, Lethbridge or Tabor or wherever you're located in those search terms. And then use abbreviations. So if someone's searching for an HVAC company, they're probably not going to be on their phone typing in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning near me. They're going to be typing in HVAC near me. So use those abbreviations in what you're targeting. So on the left-hand side here, this is just an example of a small keyword list that I might use in a furnace repairs ad group. So you've got furnace repairs Lethbridge, furnace maintenance, Lethbridge furnace repair, furnace repairing. Yeah, I mean, I can read them off, but you can just read them. But you can see how there's different variations. I'm including the location, I'm including near me, I'm including different phrases, and I'm thinking about what people are going to be searching for. And with these phrase matches, you don't want to just have a couple. You want to have a fairly, not extensive list, but you want more than a couple keywords. So you can see here, I've got about a dozen keywords or so, and I would say that's a good starting point, and you can always add keywords as you go. How you add keywords as you go is you figure out what users are searching on Google, and Google actually has a way of showing you this. So within the Google Ads platform, you have what are called search terms. So you can see here, this might be a little bit hard for you guys to see, I'm not sure, but on the left-hand side here is your menu. So you've got your ads and extensions, you've got landing pages, you've got keywords, and this section is where your keywords are going to be. So it's going to be search keywords at the top under this drop-down. Those are the keywords that we are specifically targeting. Those are the ones we're already bidding on. We already know those keywords. Below that is negative keywords. Those are the ones that we're using to filter out irrelevant searches. And then search terms. What search terms these are what our ads have shown up for on Google as people are searching. So you're going to have a list of different search queries that have triggered your ads, and you can see the amount of impressions and the amount of clicks that these searches have got. What this allows you to do is you can regularly check in on these to see if what you're currently targeting is working for you. And you can see in this if there's anything that you want to add or if there's any negative keywords that you want to add. So yeah, it's good to check in on this regularly. And you can see, let's say you showed up for a search that you don't want to show up for. You can click on it and you can say add as a negative keyword, and then it's not gonna, your ads aren't gonna show up for that search anymore. So this is a really good way that once your account is set up, once you've got your keyword list, once you're targeting things, this allows you to really hone in on what you're showing up for and making sure that everything is as relevant as possible. Okay, so some best practices. This presentation has been, a very, very general, broad overview of keywords. It can get pretty complicated when you get into it, but for small to medium-sized businesses around here, really, if you just simplify things and if you just think about what the consumer is searching for and, use your marketing smarts, use your marketing brain, that you can make sure your ads are relevant and showing up for these searches. So my number one would be use phrase match. It's going to provide the most relevant searches, but it is going to have that degree of flexibility. So you have the flexibility in that the searches can be a bit of a variation of what you're targeting, and you can have a kind of an extensive list of things to make sure that you're, showing up for all of these searches. The next one, if your budget is low, consider using broad match. Broad match, you can add, 3 to 4 different broad match keywords relating to the service that, you're targeting, and your ads will show up. For searches, they might be irrelevant, but you can use negative keywords to rule those out. But yeah, you're going to show up for a lot of impressions, and it's just kind of going to be the cheapest option for you to get going. And sometimes it's beneficial to start with 3 or 4 broad match keywords, look at those search terms and see what people are searching for and what your ads are being triggered on, and then you can add those in as phrase match afterwards. So it kind of really all depends how you go about it. Number 3, look at the keyword planner first. So just do some research, understand what people are looking for, understand what's been working already and what other advertisers are bidding on, and you can build a keyword list in there. Number 4, think about what your audience is searching for. Think like a marketer, think like a consumer, think about what they're searching for. Number 5, utilize negative keywords. Just rule out those irrelevant searches. We don't want to show up for those. And number 6, add, remove, and tweak when necessary. Sometimes you'll add a keyword in and that certain phrase, the way you worded it, is getting tons of impressions, but you're not getting any clicks. It's no good. Get rid of it. So Google, you're never stuck. You can always add, you can always remove, you can always delete, you can always change things.